welcome to my craft room. I'm Leo from inkymemories.co.uk, an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in South Wales. And today on this Tip Tuesday video I have something a little bit different for you. So this arrived just the other day. This is the new Stampin Cut Emboss machine, which is the replacement for our previous die cutting and embossing machine, the Big Shot, which I have here. I've not unboxed this yet. I literally have just cut open the box and I was going to go through everything with you, so unbox it, show you how to set it up and also how to use it on this video today. So let's get started. So first of all, going into the box in here, the first thing we have is a pack of plates. Let me just move the Big Shot out of the way while we do this. And then here is the machine itself. And then in the bottom of the box is the handle, and you do need to assemble this when it arrives. So just before I put any of this together and move you in for a closer look, I'm just going to do a very quick comparison of this versus the Big Shot so that you can see the difference between the two. Okay, if I pop them side by side here. So as you can see, the Big Shot, the platforms are always down on this, so it does have quite a big footprint on your craft table or in your craft space. The new machine that we have here, the sides actually fold down when you're ready to use it, just like so, and they store away nice and easily when you are done crafting, so a much smaller footprint in your craft room, a lot less space that you need to find to use this machine. A lot of the sort of functions are the same between the two. This has been manufactured specifically by Stampin' Up. There's a lot of great sort of engineering that has gone into this to make sure it has fantastic even pressure on the roller, exactly as we had with the Big Shot previously. It's just a much smaller, more compact machine, and this one has, like I said, been designed and produced specifically by Stampin' Up for us. So it's going to work perfectly with all of our dies and embossing folders. So let me bring you in for a closer look and we'll go through how to attach the handle and how to use this machine. So let's have a closer look at the machine then. So after unpacking, I've got the actual unit itself. I've got the handle along with the screw in here, and then this is all of the plates and the instructions on how to use the machine. And before I go any further, I'll just show you where this is in the annual catalogue, as always. So on page 170, this is in the annual catalogue. You can see here we have our two new cutting and embossing machines. Now at the moment it is just the standard size machine that is available. This will be available for customers as of the 1st of September, so not long to wait now. The mini machine, we don't currently have a date for that yet. Unfortunately, there's been a couple of delays just due to the pandemic and everything going on with that, so we don't have a date for that just yet. But the big machine, the one that's going to do everything for you, will be available as of the 1st of September. Obviously, if you wanted to get your hands on it earlier, it is currently available to demonstrators. And we do have a pre-order going on at the moment, so if you do join my team of Inklings, you can add this to your starter kit as part of your bundle. And the first thing that we need to do is to get the handle attached so we can use this. So first of all, I'm going to grab out the instruction book from the pack with the plates just over here. And we'll just run through how to assemble the handle and get your machine up and running. So there are sort of care instructions and so on in this booklet. Definitely keep a hold of this as well, just in case you do need to refer back to it at any point. So if we get into this bag, there's a couple of different parts that we have. So you have the actual handle itself. There is a little rubber washer that will sit over the handle screw once it's been put in. And then you have a separate bag with the screw and a washer and a tiny Allen key. And this is nice and simple. It would be the same with the Big Shot when we first had that. You did have to attach a handle there also. It just helps to make it a bit easier to transport. So you position the handle onto here. Now I don't know if you can see, there is a flattened part in the handle and a flattened part on the sort of crank on there. They just slot together. Pop the washer onto the little tiny screw, and I do need another hand for this. And then you just feed this down through the handle. So there's a little hole in there. And then using the Allen key, you just want to screw this in nice and tightly. Okay, once you're happy that's in nice and firmly, using the little rubber cap that comes with this, you just pop this in, and there is a little slot on here that goes into the edge on there, and it just sits in like so, and your handle is attached. Definitely keep hold of your Allen key as well. Every now and again you may want to just take the rubber cap off, make sure that screw is still nice and tight inside. Okay, so now that we have our handle attached, let's go through all of the other parts that we got and go through those one by one. So like I said, we have our instruction book, which I am going to keep to one side. And then we have all of the different plates that you can use in this. Now there are a couple of other plates that are not available just yet, and unfortunately won't be available on the 1st of September. Now they are the magnetic base plate and the impression mats. We still don't have a date on those yet, but hopefully they wouldn't be too much longer. But certainly you can do a lot with this as it comes already. So first of all, you have your main sort of base plate, and you'll notice this is numbered, and it also has on here all of the different sandwiches for you, all laid out for using dies and embossing folders, so it makes it really helpful. You then have your thin die adapter. This is plate number 2, and then you have your cutting plates, and you'll notice these are both numbered 3. And then you also have your specialty plate, which is plate number 4. So what I will do is I'll run through a couple of simple sandwiches, not the type that you eat, just to show you different plates and how we're going to use those. Okay, so now that we have unpacked everything and got the handle attached, it's time to try some die cutting and embossing, and let's go through some of the different sandwiches that we're going to need for that. So first of all, to open the machine, you just, using these thumb holes in the top, pull the 2 platforms down and put them down nice and flat. You may hear them kind of pop down as they come down, perfectly normal and nothing to be worried about. And then if we go over to our pack of plates, and we'll go to the bottom first of all to plate 1. This is your base plate. As you can see on here, they are numbered in the sandwiches as well. So for using with thin dies, which is the first thing I'm going to try here, we're going to want plate number 1, so your base plate. You're then going to want your thin die adapter, which is plate number 2, as it shows on here. And then we're going to need our cutting mats. And look how pristine these are, as completely as yet unused. These are plate number 3. And just as a quick intermission here, I'm just going to pull in my very old, very well loved plates from my previous die cutting machine. As you can see, I have definitely loved these. Very, very well used. I cannot wait to cut with these. I think it's going to be a bit of a difference for me for a while. So I'm going to pull in some dies. I've just grabbed these straight out of my die cutting box here. So I've just got the Budding Blooms dies. Let's see what we've got in here. I'm just going to grab one of these. These are designed to cut out the images. I don't actually have any of the images stamped. Maybe I should have done that as a test, but there we go. So with our plates 1, 2 and 3, as you can see here, all stacked up nicely. Pop your cardstock down onto your cutting surface. Put your die down on top, and you're going to want to make sure that you put it down with this raised ridge facing down. That's actually your cutting edge. And then you put your second plate 3 over the top, and that completes your die cutting sandwich. You feed it into the machine until you meet resistance, and from there you wind it through. And this is incredibly smooth. It's not making any odd crunching or clicking sounds like I'm used to, which is very strange. Okay, so if I pull that out from the other side, ooh, and there is our die cut image. I can pop that through, and that has cut really nicely, a very crisp cut on there. No fuzzy edges at all, as you can see. That's all done nicely for us. And there we have the very first scar on my new plate, the first of many, I'm sure. Okay, so now that we have tried die cutting, let's try some embossing. So I'm going to go back to the base plate, so plate number 1 for this. And if we look down here for use with standard embossing folders, we need our base plate, so plate number 1. We don't need plate 2, that's our thin die adapter, so I'm going to pop that to one side. We need our cutting plate, a standard embossing folder. I've just grabbed one out of my embossing folders box over here. And I'll pop some cardstock into there. This is just a scrap piece of very vanilla. And that goes onto our cutting plate. And then the second cutting plate, so plate 3, sits over the top. And then you pop this into your machine. Now when it comes to embossing, you always want to make sure that you're putting your embossing folder in hinge edge first. This is very important. So if for any reason your embossing folder isn't properly lined up in your sandwich, if you were to put it through with the free edge first, all of that kind of difference as the folder gets pushed through the machine would transfer to the hinge edge, and you will end up actually snapping your embossing folder, which is definitely not something that you want to do. If you pop it in hinge edge first, it will actually straighten itself out as it's going through. You should get a nice crisp emboss and no problems with the folder. So pop this until you meet resistance, and then from there you just wind it through. And again, this is so smooth to crank, it's really nice. Okay, so take off our plate. And here is our embossed cardstock with that gorgeous swirl pattern on there. So you've got your embossed side and your debossed side, and that has done really nicely. So the last sandwich that we have then is going to be for 3D embossing folders. These are your much thicker, chunkier embossing folders that give you a much deeper impression. And the sandwich is a little bit different for this one. So again, I'm going to go back to my base plate here, so plate number 1. And our sandwich is listed on the bottom here for us. So we want plate number 1. We're not going to be using any cutting plates this time. So plate number 3 we can put out of the way, both of those. And what we need is our embossing folder. So I have one here, this is the hammered metal. Our cardstock in the middle. So again, another scrap of very vanilla going into there. And then we're going to use plate number 4. Which is this grey one. This is your specialty plate. Pop that on the top and feed it in until it starts to go, and then roll it through. Excellent. And lift off your plate. And there is your embossed piece of cardstock. So again, you've got your debossed side and your embossed side. And just to show you the difference between these two folders. So this is a standard folder. So both sides of the folder are roughly the same thickness. This is one of the 3D folders. So as you can see, this front side is much thicker and will give you a much deeper impression. So I know that was a really simple Tip Tuesday for today. I hope you have enjoyed this quick run through of our new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Like I said, these are going on sale September 1st. Do look out for them on my website. If you did want to get one early, as I explained, you can do so by adding it to your starter kit when you become a demonstrator with Stampin' Up. If you want more information on that, I will pop that in the description box below. As always, I will link the products for you. I can't link this just yet, but as soon as it is available, I will add it to the description, but I will pop a link to my store in the description box. If you have any questions or comments, please do pop them below and I'll be happy to help and answer those for you. If you'd like a copy of our current catalogues, there will be a link in the description box to my website where you can complete the web form and request those, and I'll get them straight out in the post to you. Thank you again for joining me in my craft room today, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.